This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. President Trump's threat to slap 25% tariffs on vehicles imported from Canada and Mexico next month could raise the prices of full-size pickups and SUVs by $9,000. That's according to a study from the Anderson Economic Group. Pat Anderson, the CEO of the group, says that if automakers don't make production adjustments to offset the tariffs, the impact could be over $10,000 per vehicle. So far, most sales forecasts predict that new vehicle sales in the U.S. will come in around 16.1 million units. But those tariffs, even if they're phased in over time, will blow a hole in those forecasts. More importantly, full-size trucks and SUVs are where GM, Ford, and Stellantis make the bulk of their profits. And if those sales drop, their guidance to Wall Street goes out the window. So, how will automakers react? We've already seen Ford delay the intro of the next-gen F-150 by a year. Stellantis has paused retooling of the Brampton plant in Canada for the new Jeep Compass. But Auto Forecast Solutions says that Ram heavy-duty trucks are still scheduled to be made in Mexico until 2032. And by the way, that's the same year that the next-gen Jeep Wrangler, codenamed J70, and Gladiator, codenamed J7P, will go into production in Toledo, Ohio. And they're moving to the STLA frame platform, which makes us believe there's going to be both a BEV and EREV version of them. Japanese automakers would also be heavily hit by U.S. tariffs. The United States is the top sales market for Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and Subaru, which also make a lot of their vehicles in Canada and Mexico. So Japan's Automobile Manufacturers Association is urging the Japanese government to help shield its automakers from any tariffs that may get imposed. And that includes on steel and aluminum, which have also been threatened with 25% tariffs by the Trump administration. However, the report doesn't say what kind of protection Japanese automakers are looking for. We've got some more disappointing news out of Europe this morning. New car sales fell yet again in January. Sales in the EU were down 2.6%. And even when you throw in the non-EU members into the mix, meaning the UK and the Scandinavian countries, sales were down 2.1% to only 1 million vehicles. That's several 100,000 vehicles below where it used to be. The only bright spot was with hybrids and BEVs. Everything else was down. Hybrid sales jumped almost 17% to over 347,000 units, accounting for 34% of all vehicles sold. Surprisingly, despite having such a strong hybrid lineup, Toyota sales were down 5%. BEVs were up 37% at more than 166,000 units, accounting for 16.3% market share. Even so, Tesla had a horrible month, with sales in the EU down 50%, coming in at only 7,500 vehicles, behind Suzuki and Mazda. The only automakers which posted sales gains were SAIC, the Chinese automaker, up a whopping 76%. The Volkswagen Group was up 5.6%, thanks to a 15% rise at the Volkswagen brand, and Renault was up 5%. But every other automaker posted a drop in sales. Afeela, the joint venture between Honda and Sony, celebrated the grand opening of its first studio in Los Angeles. Visitors can get a first-hand look at the Afeela 1 sedan, which starts at $89,900, and place reservations for the model with a fully refundable deposit of $200 at the Afeela website. The studio will only be open for 6 months. However, Afeela plans to open 2 more studios in California in the second half of the year. But like VW dealers fighting Scout's direct sales plan, we think Afeela will face similar opposition from Honda dealers.
Developing today's vehicles. Issues can happen in an instant. When's the best time to solve a problem? The minute you know you have one. Meet Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your secure, off-the-shelf solution empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With wireless Neovi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless Neovi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
Tesla is improving its hands-free driving system in China, but some owners are still disappointed with its capabilities. The update allows the vehicle to operate on roads and urban streets with the ability to take exit ramps, navigate through intersections, recognize traffic signals, turn left or right, make U-turns, and change lanes. But it's still not as capable as the supervised FSD system that Tesla offers in the US, which is the kind of capability that Elon Musk has been promising to Chinese customers for years. Tesla has allowed owners to pre-order FSD in China since 2022 with a price tag that now sits at roughly $8,800. And on top of all of that, Car News China reports that the update is currently only available for vehicles with Hardware 4, which only started rolling out about a year ago. According to reports, the system is less advanced because it hasn't had enough training on Chinese roads and traffic rules. But that could soon change. Tesla changed the name of FSD in China to FSD Intelligent Assisted Driving, kind of how it changed FSD to Supervised FSD in the US. And some speculate that the system will launch in China before the end of the year. And speaking of Tesla, the company's VP of Engineering says the Model S and X will, quote, get some love later this year, including a little bit of the stuff we've been putting in the 3 and Y. The VP didn't elaborate anymore, but it's been about 4 years since their last update. EV owners are more satisfied with their vehicles than they were a year ago. J.D. Power released its 2025 U.S. Electric Vehicle Experience Ownership Study, which focuses on the first year of ownership, and it found that satisfaction amongst both premium and mass market EVs improved compared to last year. The study takes a ton into account, including accuracy of stated battery range, availability of public charging stations, battery range, cost of ownership, driving enjoyment, ease of charging at home, interior and exterior styling, safety and technology features, service experience, and vehicle quality and reliability. And the BMW iX was the highest ranked overall EV and the highest amongst premium models. It was followed by the BMW i4 and the Rivian R1S amongst premium EVs. On the mass market side, the Hyundai Ioniq 6 ranks the highest, and it's followed by the Kia EV6 and the Chevy Equinox EV. But here's something that could affect EV satisfaction. According to a new report from Upstream, an automotive cybersecurity company, cyber attacks targeting automotive and mobility products increased 39% in 2024, mainly from more attacks at EV charging stations. The study found that 59% of EV charging attacks had the potential to impact millions of devices, including chargers, mobile apps, and vehicles. Upstream says the interconnectedness between all those devices increases the risk of cyber attacks. With the range-extended version of the Ram 1500 called the Ramcharger launching in the second half of this year, the company held a presentation detailing a lot of the truck. Let's start with the new STLA frame architecture, which is similar to the gas-powered 1500, but the center section of the frame uses thicker steel and is 8 inches wider. That helps fit and protect the battery, but also allows the exhaust and a 27-gallon gas tank to still be packaged within the frame rails. The battery pack has a total capacity of nearly 92 kilowatt hours, but only has a usable space of about 70 kilowatt hours. Ram says it does that because vehicle performance would start to be affected, especially while towing, if the state of charge of the battery went down to 10 to 15% in relation to total capacity. So, the Ramcharger will still have more battery capacity to tap into, even when the icon on the dash says the battery is low. But to help maintain performance, the engine generator will kick in. It uses the company's 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, but there's no starter, EGR system, prop shafts, or transmission. Instead, it has a generator bolted to the back of it, and the engine spins up the generator to provide power to the battery pack or directly to the truck's front and rear drive modules. So, there's no direct link between the engine and the wheels. But even with a low battery light, Ram says the truck can still do 114 miles an hour and pass the Davis Dam test while towing a 14,000-pound trailer. That ability is part of the reason it doesn't use a smaller, more efficient engine, which would struggle in those kinds of situations. With power plugs in the bed, bidirectional charging capability, 145 miles of EV-only range, and 690 miles of total range, Ram calls it the Goldilocks truck because it has a little bit of everything for everybody. But that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for tuning in.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering boost your game. And by Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
Making a life full of memories, one road trip at a time. That's what really matters. Bridgestone Weather Peak tires with a 70,000-mile limited warranty.
There's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Teijin Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.